In the last video, I tracked the alignment from San Luis Potosi, a gold and silver mining hub in Mexico, and followed it through various places in Tamaulipas State, including its capital, Victoria, and Matamoros, Mexico on the United States border, through to Brownsville on the Gulf Coast of South Texas. My name is Michelle Gibson. I'm picking up the alignment in Port Isabel, Texas, part of the Brownsville, Harlingen, Raymondville, and Matamoros-Brownsville metropolitan areas, and has a population of approximately 5,000 people. It is located beside the Laguna Madre Bay, one of 6 hypersaline, or saltier than the ocean, lagoons worldwide. As is the Laguna Madre y Delta del Rio Bravo of Tamaulipas State in Mexico, mentioned in the previous video, which is located on the Gulf of Mexico coast, just south of the Laguna Madre in Texas. The tidal flats and barrier island beaches of the Laguna Madre Bay in Texas represent the largest continuous expanse of suitable habitats in North America for migrating and wintering shorebirds, and is the most productive Texas Bay fishery, and one of the best places to fish for red drum, black drum, and spotted sea trout in North America. The Laguna Madre Bay is a negative estuary, where seawater flows in rather than out. The otherwise landlocked Laguna Madre Bay has 2 channels connecting it to the Gulf of Mexico. One is at Port Isabel, which becomes the 17-mile or 27-kilometer Brownsville Ship Channel, and the other connects Port Mansfield to the Gulf of Mexico. I find the 2 jetties at the entrance of the channel leading to Port Mansfield to be of interest because their appearance is reminiscent of these at Venice, Florida, and the south inlet of the Grand Lucayan Waterway at Lucaya, near Freetown on Grand Bahama Island. I believe these jetties and channels were part of an ancient worldwide canal system that has been deliberately removed from our awareness, and I will be exploring this subject in more depth in this video. For instance, this is a view from Google Earth showing artificially made channels and canals throughout the city of Port Isabel. Still going to use Venice and Florida shown here on the other side of the Gulf of Mexico for a comparison because these 2 communities have strikingly similar characteristics, like the residential neighborhoods on artificial islands surrounded by water. This is a long straight channel in Venice, Florida, similar to the Brownsville Ship Channel that starts at Port Isabel. Not only that, Port Isabel, Texas, and Venice, Florida are practically directly across the Gulf of Mexico from each other. If they are not exactly, it is close. The Port Isabel Lighthouse is a symbol of the city and said to have been built in 1852. Note that it is sitting on a geometric earthwork that looks like a mound. Padre Island is next on the alignment, where it crosses over South Padre Island. Padre Island is the world's longest barrier island. Barrier islands are coastal landforms, and we are told a type of dune system that is either exceptionally flat or lumpy areas of sand formed by wave or tidal action. Not exactly the most solid ground to build on, which makes the wisdom of building resorts like South Padre Island, and by no means is it the only example, on barrier islands rather questionable, especially in a part of the world where hurricanes are common. South Padre Island was hit by Hurricane Beulah in 1967, Hurricanes Dolly and Ike in 2008, and Hurricane Alex in 2010. Nice place to visit, but I don't think I want to live there. South Padre Island is only connected to the mainland by the Queen Isabella Causeway, named for Queen Isabella of Christopher Columbus fame. From South Padre Island, the alignment crosses into the Gulf of Mexico, an ocean basin and marginal sea of the Atlantic Ocean. A marginal sea is a division of an ocean that is partially enclosed by islands or peninsulas. The Gulf of Mexico is bounded on the northeast, north, and northwest by the United States, the southwest and south by Mexico, and the southeast by Cuba. As the alignment heads towards Louisiana, it crosses the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary, the only sanctuary site located in the Gulf of Mexico. The Flower Garden Banks are said to have been formed when underlying salt domes forced the seafloor upwards, creating rises and banks. These were then said to be conducive to reef formation, so that's the official explanation. I'll just leave a photo here for your consideration of the underwater pyramid city that was discovered in western Cuban waters. The alignment crosses into Louisiana in Terrebonne Parish. It is the second largest parish in the state in terms of land area. The alignment goes through Houma, the largest city and parish seat of Terrebonne Parish. The city is named after the Houma people, who have state recognition as a tribe, but for some reason they do not have federal recognition. The Houma people are said to be related to the Choctaw, who are related to the Washita Moors, M-U''urs. This is the recently deceased empress of the Washita, Verdiasi Tiara Washington Turner Gostin Albay. The Washita were recognized as the oldest indigenous civilization on Earth by the United Nations in 1993, and yet we have never heard of them. The Washita Moors are also known as the Ancient Ones and the Mound Builders. The ancient imperial seat of the Washita, called Washita proper, was in the area around Monroe in northern Louisiana. The Washita Empire was vast. They were somehow completely removed from our collective memory, yet are completely relevant to the information I am bringing forward. This is Houma Elementary School, with its beautiful brickwork. It seems like architectural overkill for an elementary school to me. So does El Paso High School, for that matter. More like a government building or art museum, but then again, who really built all of the massive architecture that exists everywhere, all around us? It is hidden in plain sight, without us questioning it, simply because we haven't been told anything about it, and/or accept what we are told. The Houma's House plantation is in Burnside, Louisiana, near New Orleans. It was said to have been established in the 1700s, and its main house completed in 1840. The land on it was said to have been purchased from the Houmas. So, who really built this plantation? On the top is what is called a garçonnière, or bachelor apartment, on the Houma's house grounds. It has a distinctly Moorish look to me. On the bottom, for comparison to the garçonnière in Louisiana, is the Moorish architecture and dome that is seen through this archway in Seville, Spain. Before I take leave of Houma, here is what looks like a canal in the downtown part of the city, as well as another one between Houma's twin bridges. Southeast of Houma, and on the other side of New Orleans, is the Mississippi River Delta, where you see perfectly straight channels covering the landscape as far as the eyes can see. The same thing is seen in the Nile Delta in Egypt. I'm going to end this video here and pick up the alignment in New Orleans in the next video.